For more content like this, log on to GibboPresents.com.
It's Gibbo, and right now I'm joined by a man whose musical career began when he was still in high school, toasting on his father's sound system. Decades later, he is still going strong, performing around the world on a regular basis and recording new material. It is Tippa Irie. Tippa, how are you?
I'm cool, Gibbo. I just come back from the gym, so I'm trying to keep the belly down. But I get fed good food every day, so it's hard. But I'm blessed, man. I just got my new album, Living the Dream. So at the moment, it's a good vibe. The work is coming in still. So at the moment, I'm in a very good place.
Speaking of the new album, Living the Dream, I'm curious, when you were young, what was your dream?
There it is. Boy, for me, it's like when you're starting, music was a hobby. You know what I mean? But I used to just admire Dennis Al Capone, U-Roy, Big U, Trinity, Tapazuki, Dillinger, and then it became like Brigadier Jerry, Josie Wells, Charlie Chaplin, and then it became Papa San, Lieutenant Stitchie, Professor Nuts. And my dream basically was just to be like these guys, and true, because from a very young age, my father always had sound systems, always used to keep dances, blues dances. So I just used to watch him play his music and learn from him. And then once I heard U-Roy, I just started to imitate U-Roy, and then after a while, you kind of develop your own style. So my dream was always to be a musician.
Your back catalogue is extensive, and I'm sure you could get bookings for as long as you like due to the popularity of your previously released material. What motivated you to make this album? Why did you decide it was the right move to make?
Well, it's been like my last album was Stick to My Roots, what I did with the Far East Band, and it's 5 years now. So in between that time, I released a lot of singles with people like the Skints. I've done 2 tracks on their album. I've done tracks with Decline, which is like a jungle producer. I did tracks with Ron Tom, who's another like jungle, dance producer. So I was doing a lot of singles. So it comes a time where now I kind of take my time with my albums, so that I make sure that once I've finished, I'm happy. I'm happy 100% with it. And so after not releasing the album for 5-6 years, I said it's time now that I have to get this album finished and out. Because I had about 30 tracks to choose from, and then I whittled it down to the 15 what's on this album. So yeah, it was just the right time. It was just 5 years is a long time not to put out an album. So I just said to myself, I need to get one out now.
So over what period of time and where was the music for this album recorded?
Well, it took me about 2 years to do the album. Most of the album was recorded in my house in Jamaica. I got a place in Jamaica, and what I did is my engineer, JB Baker, who's my producer, and my DJ, he performs live with me when I go out and do my sound system show. And he's a guitarist in my band as well. What I did, he's also a good painter and decorator. So what I did, I brought him to Jamaica with me to paint my house and to also set up a mini studio in one of the rooms in the house. So that's what we done. So I'd say about 7, 8 of the tracks were done in the spare room in my house in Jamaica. So basically we just brought some keyboards, a mic, and a couple of laptops, and we put, you know, we would just pick a drum track. You know, there's loads of drum tracks out there. So I would every day I say, right, I like that drum track. Let's use that drum track. And then we would create original rhythm, and then I write a song. And that's kind of like the formula for most of the album. Peter Huntingale, who's a lovers rock singer from the UK, he done one track, which is a track called Friends Will Say. A guy called Gap, who is from a group called T-Bone. And T-Bone is like probably the biggest reggae ska band in Thailand. And Horseman and Prince Fatty, they do a lot of work with this guy. So when I go to Thailand to tour, I stay with Gap. And he has a studio not too far, maybe 1 hour outside of Bangkok. And so I did one of the tracks there, a tune called Motherland, which was produced by Prince Fatty, Horseman, and Gappy from T-Bone. The rest of the stuff was done by J.B. Baker. Just those 2 tracks, I think, were done by separate producers, which was Peter Huntingale and Prince Fatty and Horseman did one. And there's a track on there called 1 in a Million, which is produced in Los Angeles. I vocaled it in the UK, but it was done in LA.
Some of the subjects and issues you tackle in your music are not mentioned by a lot of other artists. Do you make a conscious effort to do this, or is it just natural, something you do without thinking about?
Well, you know, a lot of the time I write about my experiences, you know, and if I go to Thailand, I've got a tune on the album called I Felt Home. And that was when I wrote that when I was in Thailand, you know. And so I tend to write about, the first single is called Big People Now, because we, you know, I'm 50 years old now. So we are the big people now. People of my age group, we're not youths anymore. We're big people now. So it's our responsibility and our job to try to help the youth them, because a lot of them is falling by the wayside. So my first single is called Big People Now, because we are the big people now. So we have to try to show the youth them the right way. So that's what I try to do. I just, whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm experiencing, whatever comes my way, I do try to leak out the system a lot, because they could be doing better, you know? They could be doing better to help the normal working class person, you know what I mean? That's why I write tunes like Motherland, which is like, you know, we have to step it out of Babylon, because, you know, as much as we want to stay here, there's nothing going on here, really. You know what I mean? So it's not getting any better. It's getting harder.
And am I right, you shot a video for Big People out in California recently?
Yes, sir. I did. I'm excited because I haven't seen the whole thing yet. But I did all the performance shots. So I put out a little teaser. And the response has been tremendous. So hopefully within this week now, I should get to see the finished thing. In fact, when I finish speaking to you, I'm going to track down the video guy to see how the editing is going on. But yeah, that's going to be the album. The CD has actually come for the album. I haven't put it up on downloads as yet, because I want to try and see if I can get rid of some of the CDs before I put it up digitally. But yeah, the video, it should be ready this week. So I'm excited about that. I think it's like my third video I did in California. I really like LA. I like California. I like the vibes out there. It's very warm, the weather. Reminds me of Jamaica.
Speaking of California, I believe when you were out there, you also visited the one and only Shinehead.
Yes. Shinehead's my brethren, man. You know, I mean, he's been an admirer of my work from the Saxon days, you know. And likewise, I've been an admirer of his work, you know what I mean? And he's got a little den where he's building his sound system called Kingston 12. So when I go to LA, a couple of times I've gone to visit him. When I went there with Mikey Ball, Saxon Sound, we went there and we did some dub plates for his sound. I did some dubs for his sound, and we done some filming of us playing a selection of music. And then the last time I went, a friend of mine was doing a radio show, because I think he's got a couple of radio shows that he does with his missus, and so they invite us to come there and to play some music on his radio show and do a little interview, you know. So that's a blessing, and hopefully I can get to tour with that guy, you know, because he's a fun brother.
I've seen some of the videos he's posted of his studio. Am I right, he recently built his own speaker boxes?
Yep, he did. He built his own speakers, and, you know, when you're in there doing the interviews, it's like you're in a big session, a big dance on, you know, because he's got, double, you know, bass boxes, and when I was there, he had about 5 new speakers that arrived for more boxes that he's going to build. So I guess he's serious about taking his sound system on the road and you know, basically showing people in America the sound system culture.
Can you remember when you and him met for the first time? If you can you tell me that story?
I think it was probably at one of those big concerts in Jamaica. It might have been Reggae Sunsplash. It might have been DJ Roll Call. It might have been Sting. I can't remember 100%, but I'm sure it was in Jamaica where we met for the first time. Unless it was when Saxon played in New York back in the day, in the 80s, we might have met then, but I'll be honest, I can't remember exactly the first time when we actually shook hands.
I noticed you shared a video online from Mr. Vegas, one of his MV Corner rants about the Popcorn and Drake situation. Have you been following this closely?
No. In a word, no. I mean, if somebody posts something and I watch it and I like it and I think what they're talking is sensible, then I will share it. You know what I mean? But I don't really, after I watch it and share it, I don't really get too wrapped up into that, because obviously I've just released my new album. I'm focusing on that. I've just started a new radio station called lockdownradiouk.com, you know, to kind of help give support to UK artists. So I'm a pretty busy guy, and plus I got my gigs going on, and, you know, then you have to try to find time for the family as well, you know?
Sure. One of the things which has angered Vegas, if you like, is the lack of credit and recognition artists who make dancehall and reggae sounding or influenced songs give to dancehall and reggae artists, producers, and musicians. What are your thoughts on this issue? Do you agree with his stance?
Well, I kind of experienced that a little with Will.I.Am, you know, because when I did Hey Mama, you know, with the Black Eyed Peas back in the day, you know, I was very very, very nice. Will.I.Am and the Black Eyed Peas, they asked me to do something. I did a good job, and after I did the job, obviously I got my little payment for the job, and then I got my publishing. So on that sense, it was cool. But then, things were happening, and the level of respect that, you expect to get, it wasn't forthcoming, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people didn't even know that I wrote Hey Mama with Will.I.Am, you know what I mean, with the Black Eyed Peas. A lot of people would say, who's Tippa Irie? They don't know that I actually wrote that song. And that is because they never gave me the props that I deserve. So I kind of experienced it firsthand with them guys, so I kind of know what Vegas is talking about, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If the people, them Popcorn is not concerned about it, and Beanie Man is not concerned about it, and they're happy with the situation that they the situation that they found themselves in, and they don't seem to be concerned about it, then hey, I'm not concerned about it. I think, that people should get credit for what they do. You know what I mean? And I think we should embrace each other musically. So if Popcorn is on a Drake tune, then Drake should acknowledge and let his market and his fans know that this is Popcorn. This is the guy on the tune. And the same with Beanie Man. You know what I mean? And the same with Tippa Irie with Hey Mama. You know what I mean? If, a lot of people, unless if they search and they do their homework, they would say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. But a lot of the time I sing that tune live and they'd be like, oh, wow, I didn't know Tippa Irie did that tune. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't, I wasn't given the props. I mean, did you even know that I wrote that song?
Well, yes, I did, but I probably follow your career more closely than most. If I remember correctly, you were in the video, but if you look on the album track list, you aren't listed as a featured artist.
There you go. Well, there you go. And, even that, even that day, it's not, I mean, it's the music business. And if you don't know something, they're not going to tell you. And if they can take advantage of a situation to benefit themselves, then that's what they're going to do, and unfortunately this is the business that we're in. It's a cutthroat business, you know what I mean? And I was promised a lot of things, you know what I mean, by people, but once they've got what they needed and they don't need you no more, then that's it, they move on. So you have to just dust yourself off and move on too.
Another issue Vegas brought up was the lack of airplay dancehall and reggae music gets on non-reggae specific radio stations.
Very true.
Is this a big problem, you feel? And can it be remedied?
Yeah, that's why I started my own station. I mean, it's an internet station, and there's loads of internet stations. So it's not going to be easy. But, this is what the problem is. As far as I'm concerned, even on my new album, I know I have a few hits on my new album, but because I don't have the funding of certain artists or whatever, Justin Bieber or Rihanna or people like that, then you're not going to see, unless, I can find, £5,000 to go and get a record plugger to go to Radio 1 and go to Capital and go to these guys and say, yeah, you need to be playing the new Tippa Irie. It's a great tune. You need funding to do that, and these people have the funding behind them. So to make, I can't spend £10,000 on a video. They're spending £20,000-30,000 on a nice video. So it's just the scales. It's just the tip of the scales of, so this is what the problem is. You know what I mean?
You are a member of the UK All Stars. Can you briefly introduce the collective to those watching who may not be aware of it, and then let us know what we need to look out for from you guys?
Well, the UK All Stars is the brainchild of Congo Natty, which is Rebel MC. And it features Daddy Freddy, Tippa Irie, Sweetie Irie, Tenafly, Top Cat, and General Levy. Basically, you know, we did a tune 3 years ago together as part of Rebel MC, which is Congo Natty's album at the time. And the tune became the #1 jungle tune of that year. So since that, about maybe when we hooked up to do the video, we made another tune. And that tune is actually, I mean, 2 years later, maybe it might be 3 years later, it's going to be the follow-up single, you know, for that tune. But I went to America recently. Before I left to go to the States, we did an album with the UK All Stars. Yeah, so we haven't got a title for the album yet, but all of the lyrics are done, you know. So I'm saying it's looking like in maybe March of next year, I'm thinking that album's gonna come out. So we're gonna release 2 singles this year. One should be coming pretty soon, and then we're gonna pick another one after that, and then in the new year we're gonna release the album. So people just need to watch this space. It's gonna be crazy.
Tippa, before I let you go, is there anything else we haven't mentioned that you would like to let people know about?
Well, of course, I got to tell you about my new album. The album is called Living the Dream. And as you can see, I got the CD in my hand. If you'd like to get a copy of this CD, just link up at tippairie.com. Send me an email. tippa.irie@gmail.com is my PayPal. So you can send me funds there. If you, it's only £12, £15 with PMP, post and package, and I'll send it out to you the next day. The album's called Living the Dream. It's got 15 tracks on there, banging. There's Sunai Tafari, who's a new artist coming up. He's got 2 tracks on there. Peter Honeygale's got a track on there. General Levy has a track on there called Ebola that I done with him. There's a new artist called Sapphire. We done a soca tune on there together called Big Jamaican Man. You know what I mean? So there's a variety of a lot of new artists that I'm helping up the ladder. JB Baker has got 2 tracks on there as well. So you can link me, you can follow me at Tippa Irie 7665. You can like my fan page on Facebook, just type in Tippa Irie. And yeah, check my website, man, tippairie.com. And you can find out where I'm playing around the world.
As he said, the new album Living the Dream is out now. Be sure to go and buy a copy and support the cause. Tippa, thanks a lot.
Gibbo presents